Alright, I wanted to take a small video, and I'll be embedding, obviously, things in the video that I randomly see in my room, to talk about some of the sections of your book that we have not spent a lot of time on, and the cultural items that we are somewhat missing. So I would encourage you to read these pages that I'm briefly going to talk about, and in addition to this short little quiz with the embedded items, I'm going to make another quiz over the items that you'll find in these particular sections. So the first section that we have not talked about, but we skipped over, is on page 37, the slave market. And it talks about how Davus has come to live with the Cornelians, and he was purchased at a slave market as a young man, and again this is on page 37, by Cornelius' father. And it talks about how at the market that is there, that the slave is going to have put onto his neck right here is what is known as the titulus, and on it is going to be all kinds of information about him. It'll talk about his name, the languages that he might be able to speak, his skill set, and so forth and so on. And it just happens to be that as this story is told, this very brief one that you should read, that the Greek slave Eucleides was purchased on the exact same day as Davus. Davus, of course, is from Britain, and Eucleides is from Greek, and Eucleides is going to come at a much higher price because it is a matter of his skill set. He is rather educated from Greece, and so in that way, Eucleides, whose official job will become the tutor of the children, is going to be much more highly sought after and much more valued. So page 37. The second one that you should read, seeing as slavery, unfortunately in the ancient Roman world, was ubiquitous, it was everywhere, and so ingrained, is on page 75, the treatment of slaves, with page 75, 76, and 77. And particularly on page 77, there is a term that you need to become familiar with, and that is manumission. Manumission is the process of freeing a slave. Literally, it is a sending from your hand. And manumission was rather common in the ancient Roman world. If a slave has served a particular Roman master for quite a while, he will free him at some point sometimes. And when a slave has been manumitted, then they will become what is known as a libertus, literally a freedman or a freed slave. And they are given, and you can barely make it out here, they are given a little hat that you see this fellow's wearing, and that little hat is called a pileus, and it becomes kind of like a little Santa hat, and it is the symbol of freedom. The first item that is going to be embedded is stapler, S-T-A-P-L-E-R, stapler. And so, please know that slaves could be, and were, on occasion, manumitted. They then become a libertus, or a freedman, and one of the things that they receive is that pileus, or the hat. And so that was on pages 75 through 77. And the last page that I would encourage you to read of sections that we have skipped over is going to be on page 83, Roman names. And on this page, we finally find out, and many of you have already turned it into me and are going to receive the extra credit when I add it all, the cognomen of Gaius Cornelius. Remember that Roman names are going to be 3 in number. Your second item that you need to know is trophy, T-R-O-P-H-Y, trophy. You have the praenomen, which for him is Gaius, abbreviated with C, because C's and G's are the exact same guttural sound. G-g-g-g-g, Cornelius, which of course represents the nomen, the larger extended family that you would have, and the cognomen, which for our guy, Cornelius, is not a personal trait. He is not the first person to have received this most likely, because his name is Calvus, which means bald. And if we go back to a photo of him, there's one that's nice, not a photo, but a picture, in chapter 7, as you can see, Cornelius is far from Calvus. It means bald, and that is his cognomen that you have there. So I would encourage you to go and read those pages. Your third and final item is bust, like the bust of Augustus that I have over there, B-U-S-T. And read those pages, watch this video, and earn that free, easy 100. Thanks.